Psychology of motivation. How many times have you talked to somebody you know who is very successful in their field? Chances are you would get one of two responses. First is the stock response of hard work, paying your dues, making the right sacrifices and thinking long term. This is a perfectly and socially acceptable answer, and it's quite common. It really is a way of drawing attention to the person's hard work, vision and willingness to take risks. It also evokes images and themes from great American success stories. Obviously, one of the underlying principle of foundational ideas behind American success is that it is built on the foundation of hard work. So far, so good, right? Here's the problem. There are tons of people who work hard, and unfortunately, most of them don't achieve the success that your friend, mentor or community leader has managed to achieve. What gives? On the other end of the equation are people who would tell you that their success is basically luck. Of course, they would come up with different terminology. Maybe they would say it's destiny, faith, random events. They would like you to believe that they work hard, but things just happen at the right time and place with the right people to produce the right results. What if I told you that both these explanations don't quite get it? I'm not doubting these people's sincerity, but if you want to truly get an understanding of how habitually successful people achieve the results that they get, you have to move from the standard explanation of hard work on one end and random luck on the other. First of all, let's get one thing clear: success is not random. There's nothing random about it at all. To achieve success in any kind of field, you have to have a target. This is called your goal. You have to focus on where you want your actions to lead you to. You're not just moving around randomly and all of a sudden, you found yourself at the top. Sure, from time to time, that does happen. But in terms of everybody else, that's not a winning strategy. If anything, all that random actions only ensure that you stay where you are. Success is not random. It requires premeditation, advanced planning and a big picture view. Please understand that since victory, regardless of how you define it, doesn't happen overnight. This means consistent effort. This means putting in the work and believing in your dreams despite the fact that you continue to fall flat on your face. You must be able to do this even if other people around you are pointing their fingers and saying that you're crazy, stupid, dumb and there's no hope. They keep telling you to quit. You must be able to do this, and to be able to do this consistently is not a product of luck. You don't luck into consistent success. It just doesn't happen that way. Success is a habit. In fact, if you look at very successful people, it seems that they can't help but succeed. I know that sounds crazy to somebody who struggles. But they have reached that level. Success is a habit, but not in the way you think. A lot of people are thinking that it's a habit of finding yourself at the right place, at the right time, doing the right things with the right people to produce the right results. No. It's a habit of achieving a state of flow. This is the secret. The good news is you have achieved your own personal state of flow before. You probably did not label it this way. You probably define it more in emotional terms. Maybe you're not even all that fully aware of it, but everybody's capable of achieving a state of flow. What exactly am I talking about? It's a mental and emotional state where you are able to stick to your goals and achieve them regardless of your circumstances. That's right. No matter how you feel, things fall into place. For example, if you're supposed to write a midterm essay that is 20 pages long. As you already know, that takes quite a bit of work because you're going to have to start with a thesis, and finding the right thesis takes quite a bit of time and effort. There are, after all, many other competing theses out there that go many different directions you could take. Once you have that, then you have to find the outline of how you're going to present that thesis. What position you're going to take. What arguments you're going to make. Once you have that nailed down, you're going to have to dissect it. How exactly are you going to prove that thesis? You have to go through the pros and cons. You shouldn't just focus on the evidence that support your position. You also have to pay attention to the other side. After all of this is in front of you, you have to massage all of these into a readable form that not only contains the points you're trying to make, but makes your points in a firm, clear and effective way. Talk about a tall order. It's no surprise that a lot of college students struggle with this because it takes quite a bit of work and focus. When you achieve a state of flow, you blast through the whole process. You go from a confused idea of what your thesis is to zeroing in on a specific type of thesis, and then going through so many different previous research to make sure that your particular thesis is unique enough. That is a state of flow. What would have taken a painful investment of hours can be concluded within minutes or, at most, an hour or two. That's how you know you've achieved a state of flow. Similarly, when you're outlining your work, it's very easy to get lost in the jungle of details, and before you know it, you get so discouraged and depressed that you just go out for a bite to eat and forget about your paper. That cheat day, where you took it easy, can easily turn into a cheat week, and before you know it, the paper is due. When you achieve a state of flow when you're outlining, things fall into place. You go from section to section and everything is tight, backed with the right information, and is written well enough for you to be able to easily put it together later on. Finally, when you're writing out your paper, you know you've achieved a state of flow when you just bounce from outline point to outline point, and you do an amazing job incorporating the bits and pieces of evidence that you need to come up with something compelling, tight, concise and effective. This is the state of flow. Pay attention to the process. Did you notice that none of that achievement and performance had anything to do with your feelings? You may be feeling crappy. You may be feeling like life sucks. You may be feeling down because your boyfriend or girlfriend left you. But no matter how bad your external circumstances may be, you don't let it bother you, because you remain focused like a laser tractor beam on the paper you have at hand. This sounds awesome, right? Well, oftentimes, we have people around us who basically give us a tough time. We know at least one toxic person. This person is just the fountain of negativity. Well, guess what? Even if you have that person around you and they're second guessing your thesis and telling you that your writing sucks, you're still able to focus and get the job done. Finally, even if you think that a deadline is coming and you normally freeze and remain mentally and emotionally paralyzed, you're still able to get the stuff done. This is the state of flow. This is when things are easy, clear and predictable. You also find yourself making bold moves. You also find yourself being able to think of something and then, all of a sudden, realizing that you've done it. Let's face it, most of us spend quite a bit of time hoping, wishing and dreaming about things that we could do. You obsess about the things that we should have done, could have done, would have done, but here you are, thinking about your thesis or your job or your project. Deciding on a specific action, and before you know it, you have done it. I'm not just talking about barely making it to the finish line. I'm talking blasting through that and doing an amazing job. Your state of flow enables everything to just click together and work. Habitually successful people are able to achieve more. Habitually successful people, and these are people who achieve consistent success, are able to do three things consistently and, oftentimes, constantly. This is what separates them from mere mortals. This doesn't mean that they are born that way. In fact, most people who achieve consistent success are self-made. The reason why they're successful in the first place is because they learn from their mistakes. They pay their dues. They went through hard times. Take hope from this reality. Gain confidence from this fact. If they can do it, you can do it too. In fact, if you're completely honest with yourself, chances are you probably are starting out with more advantages than many of these people. Yet here they are at the top of their game. So can you. You just have to focus on achieving your state of flow so you can do three things. Knock these three things out of the park and success is a foregone conclusion for you. It doesn't really matter how you define success. It doesn't matter what kind of field you're focused on. It's just going to happen because you have the right tools and you have the proper fuel. What are the three things that consistently successful people do? First, they are able to achieve more. This means raw output. A person who is truly successful is able to get more out of an 8-hour period. They demand more of themselves. Let's face it, anybody can talk a good game. Anybody can say that they have all this potential and it's only a matter of time until they get the results that they're looking for. Well, that's not going to cut it. Truly successful people are able to produce more. If you are working in an office and you're supposed to produce 10 reports a month, if you can barely manage 3 reports, then you are underperforming. If you produce 10 reports, then you're average. That's what's expected of you. If you blow that away and produce 15, 20, 30, then you're a superstar, at least in terms of numeric output. A lot of people play this game that it's not really the number of reports that count. It's not really the dollars that you have in your name that matters. It's not really the product units that you produce that matter the most. What matters the most is quality. Well, stop fooling yourself. This is the most basic indication of success. Can you do it or not? This is black and white. There's no dancing around this. There's no ducking it. The first thing that habitually successful people are able to do is that they're able to achieve more on a numerical level. Consistently successful individuals achieve higher levels of quality. Let me tell you, if you want to be viewed as a success and if you want to truly be successful, you can't overlook quality. Last time I checked, 1,000,000 times 0 is still 0. If your output has such low quality that it's basically worthless, it doesn't really matter if you're able to achieve more in terms of output. You're still producing garbage. You're still producing low-quality materials that people would rather not deal with. You see how this works? You have to pay attention to output quality as well. Don't just focus on cranking out the number of things that you produce every single day. That's a good start. But each unit should also meet higher and higher levels of quality. If you're able to do this, then you have multiplied the value of your output. If you want to get paid at work, then you have to increase the quality of your work, because last time I checked, a company owner or a supervisor is not going to pay somebody $30 an hour when the value of that person's work is only $10 an hour. After all, they run a business. It was put up to generate a profit. It's not a charity or non-profit. So, cranking out more units over a certain period of time is only half the battle. You also have to increase the quality of your work. This leads to greater value. The more valuable you are to any organization, the more reluctant they are to let you go. They will pay you more money, they will promote you more. They will give you more benefits. They will give you more leeway and discretion. How come? Well, you have proven yourself. Consistently successful people are able to scale up. I remember when I was working my way through college, I actually had to work at a factory. There was a guy there that specialized in one machine. When people needed to get their pieces processed through that machine, he was their go-to guy. He didn't get promoted. He didn't get paid all that well. He basically just stayed in that section. Everybody knew that he did good work. But the problem is scale. It's not enough to be the best in micro tasks that you do. You have to scale it up. You have to pack more value in your work by doing things that are not expected of you. In other words, you become indispensable. That's how you prove your value to the team or to the organization that has you as a member. This is how you stand out. This is how you get promoted. This is how you get raises. This is how you get the recognition you have coming to you. Thankfully, achieving a state of flow enables you to do all three. You're able to achieve more and crank out more units per day. You're also able to produce higher quality output. Finally, if you achieve a state of flow, scaling up beyond your job description, beyond your specific segment, beyond your particular work section, becomes easier and easier. Sounds awesome, right? You need motivation. Motivation is the key that turns the engine of our personal states of flow, which stand to revolutionize and change our lives for the better.